What's going on, ladies and gentlemen, family and friends? This is Coach E on behalf of Perfect Time Fitness and Meal Prep. We are accepting new clients on both sides. Now, on that personal training side, we are located at Fit Circuit. That is 22141 Rockside Road, Bedford Heights, Ohio, 44146. Now, we do offer one-on-one personal training, group training, one-on-one boxing cardio class. That is noon every Saturday, sports-specific training, and weight loss. On that meal side, we do offer personalized meal prep, catering, charcuterie boards, fresh fruit and vegetable juicing. Now, for us to get in touch with you and for you to get in touch with us, reach out to us on www.perfecttimefitness.com and sign up for those things previously mentioned. We are waiting to hear from you and can't wait to hear from you. Thanks for reaching out in advance. Peace.
Break.
What up? Hey, yo, welcome to another episode of Coach E Game 4 Seasons, brought to you by Perfect Time Fitness with your boy Coach E, local neighborhood high school football coach, local neighborhood high school basketball coach, local neighborhood high school track coach, also, most importantly, Co-CEO, El Presidente at Perfect Time Fitness and Meal Prep, head trainer at Perfect Time Fitness. Ladies and gentlemen, go to the YouTube channel, Coach E YouTube channel, subscribe, like, and share, and watch every single episode, especially this one, and especially some other ones too, because there's some classic shit up there you need to see. But this was going to be another one too. So, with the classic shit being made, the people that helped me make it is the two assistant coaches that y'all always hear about. On my left and my right hand side, on my right hand side today, actually, Negro Zen is back again. What's up, Negro Room Zen?
What's going on? Yeah, this will be the last one. I just got confirmation, so we're good for next week.
Okay.
All right. So I want to shout out to the people that's been supporting the film room. The film room was off to a great start so far, so I want to get at a shout out because tonight we got the co-host of the film room in here, so I'm glad to see my boy Hood back in the building. And fresh off his Coach of the Year campaign, we got Mr. Charles Salter up in here, Coach Salter. So we got three coaches in the building. You know, anytime we get this combination together, you know what we gonna be talking about. Man, I can't wait because I got some choice words myself about this one, boy. Woo! This is gonna be so fun tonight. But what's good, fellas?
Everything good, man. Hell,
What up?
except for the other person you was talking about at the end. But anyway, we're going to get to the other assistant coach with a Scully on his head because it is like 30 degrees, possibly 23 right now. On my left-hand side today, it is B. Schnitzel. What's up, Chicken Schnitzel?
What up, B. Scurry? Yeah, I got my hat. I'm glad you mentioned it. I got it on for two reasons, though. You know, first reason, because my calves whooped on them Celtics, like I told y'all, number one team in the East. Oh, no. I mean the league, number one. And also, it is cold. It's colder than the Old State offense against Michigan.
Damn.
But it's not your boy, but your favorite grown-ass man, Mr. Taboo Timmons. And let's get this thing started. I've been waiting for this. I wish I was in the house, but I've been waiting for this. So what's good, fellas? What's on deck?
What's on deck? All right, let's get to it. So let's not beat around the bush. Let's get right into it. All right, so Saturday afternoon. Last week when we had the podcast, I said, is there even a remote possibility that Ohio State could lose this game? Ain't this something? Yo, all right. So 4 years in a row, as long as this podcast has been running, each of those 4 years, we have sat here for this annual podcast to talk about how Michigan beat Ohio State. This year, for sure, I thought there was no way possible that this could happen. We got Michigan with a 6-5 record. They done lost to some teams that's nowhere near on the level of Ohio State. But here we are again with another upset. Whew. We got Ryan Day, 1-4 against Ohio State.
They stopped
Look,
using
to put this in
profanity over
perspective.
here. You said that D word.
Hey, listen, I don't mean to interrupt, but can y'all hear? I don't mean to interrupt. I got to interrupt though because I've been holding this in for too long, man, and you can see the smile on my face.
Look,
so I need
you gonna have it. You gonna have it, Hud. You gonna have it. You gonna have it. I'm just gonna say my piece and I'm gonna hush like Mr. Taboo Timmons love to say. Look, Ryan Day.
Damn.
Here it is. 2020 draft class, recruiting class has come in. If they started as a freshman and is going to leave as a senior in their 4 years, they're going to walk away with never experiencing a win against Michigan. This is how crazy this is. Fellas, I'm going to leave the floor. This $20 million, and this is what it gets you. Hood. Man, make sense of it.
I'm about to change the whole narrative of the whole situation. I don't know if y'all checked your phones recently, but the NCAA is mounting an investigation about this game. And they're trying to say that the kicker from Ohio State was on the take.
Mm.
He has a gambling issue or something. He has some kind of FanDuel account, and they kind of looked into it and see.
You got me for a split second. You got me. You had me for a split second. You had. I'm over here. I grabbed my phone like. Then I'm starting listening. It make no sense.
Like he pulling a B right now. You acting like me. Huh? That was really believable.
I got one thing. Can we curse on this podcast or is that?
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's gonna be a lot of cursing.
Hudson, I don't give a fuck what you're talking about. Okay, this bullshit, and I knew this shit was gonna come out. I knew you was gonna say some whole ass shit about here we go again about here we go with here's what happened. He's on the take. What the take is this: you motherfuckers lost again, and you might lose next year and the year after next. So I'm
here's
done
the thing.
with the bullshit and let it rock. It got beat.
I'm gonna put the blame squarely where I'm gonna put the blame of this game squarely where it needs to be put. I'm putting this on Coach Evan Curry because
there you go.
at the end of the day, when 2-3 years ago we were sitting in his basement and Michigan beat Ohio State for the first time. Evan Curry said, "I'm never gonna invite this motherfucker over here again."
I did.
It's a jinx.
I did.
And I said, you know what, E? I agree with that 100%. So he puts the call out last week. Hey, guys, come over. Watch the Ohio State game. Everybody come through. My next text was, you're not talking about Charles, are you? He said, yeah, he can come. I said, no, that motherfucker's not invited. He cannot come because when he comes, things go awry. Oh, no, Hood, it's going to be okay, man. We're going to smack these dudes around. Every time something went left Saturday, what did I do, E?
He turned and looked at me. He said, I told you don't invite that motherfucker. I told you.
I was there in 21. Man. I was there in 22. I was uninvited for 23. Uninvited. We still won. Okay, I came back to 24, and we still won. At the end of the day, we're just a better team.
Whoa,
okay,
whoa.
No matter where we watch it at. And when we want to get to the breakdown of it, I'm ready to get into the breakdown.
Well, let me start the goddamn breakdown then, because you can't sit on here and say y'all were a better team. I put this whole game. Well, I do take 1% because I did sell out and invite your ass, but the other
50%.
No,
50%.
I can't take
There's
50.
no-
I can't take 50. I take one.
There's no way.
I'm going.
I am starting to question our friendship, Evan Curry. I'm really trying to reevaluate whether me and you are going to continue to be friends or not because you really let me down Saturday.
Hey,
You really let me down.
I made sure I sat right next to Hudson because that's where I always sit at too. And I was glad Hudson was there before me because I can get my seat right next to him. Right next
so if we gonna play the blame game, I got some percentages to throw out there. I'm going 60% Ryan Day, 30% Chip Kelly, 10% Will Howard. Because the beginning of this year, we had a conversation, and Zen asked, "Is Will Howard going to be enough?" And I said, "Yeah, all he got to do is not mess up. All he got to do is play the role." Craig Krenzel. That's exactly what we said. Little did I know, week by week by week, he was doing stuff, and I'm like, that's all right. That's all right. Oh boy, that's a little scary, but we win it. Oh, that Oregon game, I said, oh shit, that ain't good. Then this game, I said, oh my God, this is not good. Then the 30% to Chip Kelly, I've never seen him call an offensive game like that. Like, I from a head coach, from him calling games,
That's
to him
terrible.
being the offensive coordinator last couple of years calling games, I've never seen him do the stuff that he was doing. And somebody going to say because of that Will Howard hit when he was concussed, allegedly. I don't think that had anything. Yeah, no, it wasn't just you. It was a lot of people saying that, like, well, he couldn't do everything that he usually do because he was a little concussed. I don't think that had anything to do with it. It was Chip Kelly's calling. You got Jeremiah Smith. You got Tate. You got Ibuka. You got so many passing weapons. And Michigan's best DB was out. And the times that you was passing clearly showed that you had the advantage there. He was so worried about trying to prove a point about this physicality. It's okay to beat somebody in any way that you are better than them at. Yeah, their offensive line was way more physical than our defensive line. But the thing is, they didn't really run all over us. We checked the run pretty much. They ran so much that eventually it added up to 100 plus, and it was just because that one big run, too. Without that one big run, they would have had about 70, 80 yards rushing on like 40-some attempts. That's a damn good job of the run game. But that one big pop made those numbers inflated a little bit, so it looked a little different. But there is no reason that whole second half to not throw the ball and air it out, spread them out, and use the advantage that we had, that whole thing. And that's why I said the 60% on Ryan Day, because I believe that he kind of overdid Chip Kelly. He was vetoing a lot of stuff, I think, just because he was nervous on like, oh no, we got to show that we're more physical than them or we're just as physical as them. It's okay, dude. Just win the freaking game. That should have been your number one priority. Because guess what? Now you're gone. The only way you can come back is if you win a national championship this year. And guess what? Nobody trusts you to do that now. So I'm free the end of December if you need an extra mover or packer. I'm definitely free to help you pack because you're getting the hell out of here, dude. There's no way. Your ass is grass. Nothing can save you. It's over.
I'm going to go ahead and let Charles, and then I'm going to talk after Charles.
No, go ahead, Hud. Go ahead. I want to hear your little ramble.
I don't want to squeeze you out. You know what I'm saying? I want to kind of bookend this whole thing. So go ahead. Yeah.
Squeeze me out, motherfucker. We won. I'm in. You ain't squeezing my ass nowhere.
I mean the conversation. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead, man. Give me your analysis, Charles.
So here's what I say. Here's what I say about the whole thing. I think the problem with Michigan right now is this year we can't score. Our defense has always been solid all year. We have a solid defensive coordinator. We have 2 first-round draft picks in the defensive line. We have a first-round draft pick in the secondary. So, but the problem has been is that we can't score, and so that was the reason why coming into this game, people were like, "Hey, Michigan's going to get killed by Ohio State," and rightfully so because we haven't scored all year, and we've lost to some teams. Although some Oregon and Texas, two very good football teams that we lost to. But losing to Illinois and Washington, though, I mean, no, absolutely not. Obviously with that. But here's what I say about the game. I knew we were going to be able to bang up front, offensive line wise. Even though Ohio State, I think, played good enough to win the game defensively.
Yes,
100%. They played good enough to win the game defensively. And I don't know what. And I know I was teasing earlier about with Hudson, stuff like that. I don't know about the kicker and the betting and that sort of thing, X, Y, and Z. But here's the thing: Ohio State played enough to win the game. You have to make field goals when you have the ability to make field goals. And the field goals that they took, the field goals that they missed, were very, very makeable field goals. The game really honestly should have been 16-13 if you're looking at the whole situation. Ohio State really honestly had the ability to win the football game. They don't make the field goals when you need to make the field goals. We did. And that's really what it boils down to. Now, at the very end of the game here, obviously Mullins made an incredible run and kind of sealed the game, kind of sealed the fate for us. But honestly, even too, when Gus Johnson and his abysmal play-by-play call, he might as well be an Ohio State coach. Honestly, Gus Johnson may as well be an Ohio State coach.
He's one of the greatest.
All he cares about is the game. That's it. He sounded like he was having a heart attack when Captain Jack intercepted the football in the end zone. It was if you go back and hear that, it's ridiculous. like get a pillow, Gus Johnson. Seriously, it's unbelievable. But outside
the irony of that is, like I told you the other day, he actually lives in Ypsilanti, Michigan, which is right next to Ann Arbor. He's a Detroit
Ohio,
guy.
I love Michigan though. So I mean, it's
he's a Detroit guy. He loves Michigan. That's his favorite team when he grew up. But he do love the Buckeyes too, though. Now you right.
Yeah. He might have used to like Michigan or love them. He might have, but he don't love them no more. I can tell you that right now. There's no doubt about that. But here's what I'll say, and I'll end with this with my rant because I'm not going to break down the entire game. I was watching a little bit of the game today. I don't know exactly what it was. The situation with that. My mind was, I thought Ryan Day gave Chip Kelly too much freedom, and he should have started to veto and take over the game. I believe if Ryan Day was calling the game, I believe we probably don't win the game.
Really?
To be honest with you, because I think Ryan Day takes the chances downfield. Chip Kelly, I think, got beside himself a little bit, and I don't know what exactly he was trying to prove or what exactly he was trying to do. But you and I were talking about the situation where, you got 20 personnel, you got those two really good running backs come in. It was only one play in the entire game that those two were in the entire game. Those two were at the same exact time. That's outrageous to me.
Blasphemous.
They could have stayed in and made those two at 60% of the snaps and just had Tate, Jeremiah Smith, and Uboka, whatever his name is.
Man.
You know his name, Egbuka. Quit playing.
Okay, I apologize that 13-10 Michigan. Now, but I will say this. Okay, they could have stayed in 20 personnel the whole game, and it would have been a problem. It would have been problematic. It's the Jimmies and Joes. It's not always the X's and O's. So, I don't know Ohio State, but I will say this: Ohio State played well enough to win the football game. They didn't play well enough, or they didn't play to the extent of what you've seen throughout the rest of the year with them with a lot of other teams. But they played good enough to win the game. Your field goal kicker, which has been a problem for you all in the past.
The Georgia game,
right?
Last year.
You should have beat Georgia last year. You should have beat Georgia, right? Or was it last year or 2 years ago?
Oh, yeah, it was 2 years ago.
That was 2 years ago.
2 years ago.
You should have beat Georgia, right? So I don't know what they need to do as far as investing in kickers, but I'll tell you, they're losing games because of it.
I disagree, but I do want to play this real quick since he brought it up. Big Brother was listening, so Big Brother just automatically popped this right on my phone. So for the folks that wanted to know what that play call that Charles was talking about, here we go.
3, power formation. Warren looking, and it's intercepted at the goal line. Unbelievable. Jack Sawyer.
Like, you ever heard anything like that?
That's terrible.
Captain Jack.
Holy shit.
Captain Jack.
Listen, that is not the first time I've heard Gus Johnson do something like that, and it is so hilarious to me. Because it's not just with Ohio State. When something exciting happens in any game, he just loses his mind. He loses
Like,
his
Jack
mind.
Sawyer is a good football player, but like, what, bro, like you guys are acting like he's fucking like Warren Sapp or some shit. Like, what are you talking about, Captain Jack?
Oh, Charles, just relax, Charles. Just give me a minute.
God. Like, take a breath, bro. Seriously.
Look, but that's why I like Gus Johnson. He's one of my favorite announcers. I love him. I love him.
You would, but
Not
let me
just
tell you
because of
something.
the Buckeyes, but
Had that been
his
Aiden Hutchinson from 2 years ago or anybody else from Michigan who did the exact same thing, he would have been excited, but it would not have been to that extent. Nowhere close to it. No way.
Because you know why? Because they are not the world famous.
Tell him,
Ohio State.
Tell him.
Buckeyes.
Tell him.
Because that's how he introduces us every time. The world famous. But anyway, shout out to Gus Johnson, man. Love Gus Johnson, one of my favorite announcers. And whoever's playing, he always say something wild. What did he say one year? Somebody had a barbecue and forgot to invite me.
He does say some funny stuff.
I'm like, Gus, what does that mean?
Nobody knows.
He does say some funny stuff. No doubt he says some funny stuff. I enjoy him enough when we're not playing. When we're not playing, I can listen to him. When we're playing, it just he's ridiculous.
Turn it down a little bit more.
Okay, so let's be clear. All right. It's a couple things I want to talk about. First thing, anytime you play in a rivalry game, am I too loud or am I good?
No, you good.
Nah, that's good.
Okay. Anytime you play in a rivalry game, it's always up in the air. It doesn't matter if one team is 10-0 and the other one's 0-10. We saw that the night before with who was I watching?
Georgia
and Georgia Tech with 7-8 overtimes. Georgia Tech had no business being in that game. But it's a rivalry game. People get amped up. If I can ruin my rival's season, it's a successful season for me, whether I win one game or two games. So anytime I go into the Michigan game, I always go into it with a little bit of trepidation because you never know what's going to come out. Going to be outcome.
You know what? That's funny that you said that because when you say that, when Pierre Woods, the former linebacker of Michigan, was on the podcast, I asked this very question about the Ohio State-Michigan rivalry. And he said they don't look at it as their rivals. He said they look at Michigan State as more of their rivals. And he said when it came down to the week of the games, he was like, they don't treat it any different. It's just like another week. So I think it's a lot on our end in Ohio than it is in Michigan. Therefore, when they come to this game, man, they just
no, man. That
loose
made
fancy
that tells a different story at the end.
But this is from a former player.
Listen, I'm gonna disagree with that in the sense because he's a former player. Granted, Pierre Woods, Washington high school coach, gets him high school, great player. But if you recall, the time he was at Michigan, Ohio State was whooping their ass. And that's probably part of the reason why they was whooping their ass, because Michigan was not taking it as serious when Bo Schembechler was there, and Gary Moeller and all those guys, and Dez was playing, and Elvis Gerback and all those guys when they was whooping Ohio State's ass in the 90s. That's probably part of the problem why they went on that long streak, because people like Brady Hope wasn't emphasizing it, or Rich Rodriguez. Rich Rodriguez came into Michigan and didn't even know the tradition of giving the number one to the top receiver. He had no idea about that. So I think, I'm not saying Pierre wasn't being sincere, but I think that might have been why they was getting their butt kicked all them years, because they wasn't emphasizing it. But once Harbaugh came back, he was like, I got to reinstate the seriousness of this situation. So I hear what you're saying, Zen. Right. I hear what you're saying, Zen, but this is a big deal on both sides. If the right people are in control.
I think so too, because it gotta be sent. I mean, you look at the fight at the end when they planted the flag. They did a Baker, planted the flag, broke out and all that, and chaos. You know, you don't do that for just a regular game. But how the hell did we lose? And is this right? My man threw for 62 yards.
Yes.
That's correct.
I
That's
thought it was
correct.
less than that.
Listen,
God damn,
so
that's horrible.
the let's be clear. It wasn't Ohio State. Ohio State lost the game. Michigan didn't beat them. Ohio State really lost and choked. And then, for lack of a better word, they choked. They choked up. I'm gonna be 100%.
I'm not the college aficionado like you guys, but what I see here is a classic Madden move when somebody make you play that game. You know what I'm saying? You go in, you got a game, your spread offense, your high-powered offense, but for whatever reason, today you want to prove a point that you could play smash mouth football. You played the opponent's game that they good at, and you got your ass whooped. You got embarrassed. I mean, you ain't get whooped, but you lost the game. You should have won.
Call that the
that's what it sounds like.
Warrior effect.
If I'm wrong. Yeah, the Warrior effect. Yeah, you out there shooting threes and instead of playing your game. I mean, that's what happened?
You hit the nail right on the head. Everything that could go wrong went wrong. I was kidding about the kicker situation earlier, but it's ridiculous that you are a big time Division I program and your kicker is not clutch.
Mm-hmm.
He can't make basic 39-yard, 40-yard field goals. Now, on the flip side of that,
college kicker situation, that's college kickers. You can't depend on college kickers. Man, that's what Gus Johnson, as we bring him up again, man. He known for that. College kicker. You can't trust them, man. Trust me, I know from being an Alabama fan during the runs that Alabama just had. Man, plenty of times we lost the Iron Bowl because the kicker couldn't kick a field goal or we came up short. Mm-hmm. So you can't trust college kickers.
No, damn.
My thing was it should have never been this close in the beginning, but
Ohio
State has not played up to the billing. They have not lived up to the hype all season. I've sit here and watched them on the big time games. I'm not as dedicated as you guys are, but I've watched the big time games and they have underperformed tremendously. Whether it's Michigan, whether it's Penn State, whether it's Nebraska, they have not performed at all for $20 million and the hype around this team. That's just what I'm saying. And this just falls in line in the string of games this season for them. That's how I see it. I shouldn't have been surprised, but for whatever reason, I ignored the previous data that was given to me, and I said, "Nah, there's no way Michigan 6-5, they're gonna win that." No, Ohio. What's the line? They showed us who they what's the line? Denny Green. What's the Denny line? Denny Green line.
They were who we thought they were. Yeah, and we let them off.
Yes, that's who they are. So my question to you fellas is, you're privileged enough for this not to end your season because it's a 12-10. Because any other year in previous years, this would have ended y'all season right here. Another time Michigan ends the season. But you're privileged enough that there's 12 teams this time going to the playoffs. Are y'all going to be able to finally learn y'all lesson going into this 12-team playoff to be able to recover and actually deliver the goods? Because I don't know, fellas. I'm like, I mean, it's a lot of parity in college football, but what are we looking like?
I'm going to respectfully disagree with you. And here's the thing. I understand you're saying they came into the season with quite a bit of hype, and this might be the best line roster I've ever seen. But at the end of the day, they won the game that they were supposed to win. Now, did they blow them out? No. All right. Oregon, that was really a good game by two great teams. I wasn't even upset about that loss because that was a great game by two great teams that were pretty evenly matched. And one thing about Oregon plays really well at home. Take them out of Oxford Stadium, they're a different team. Usually,
the last time Oregon won, they beat y'all at y'all stadium.
We didn't have this team. We didn't have this roster. But that being said, and then the Penn State game was a little closer than people probably thought it was going to be. So I'm not going to totally disagree with you, but that wasn't the team, that wasn't the Buckeyes hyping it up. That was the media hyping this situation up. So the Buckeyes just came in and played how they played. They wasn't the ones out there saying they got the best roster. They got this, they got that, they got that.
You
So
George Steinbrenner the roster up and spend all the coin, get all the boosters, the talent, pile up all the money and spend it on wherever you need it, however you need to get what we need. And you do the old George Steinbrenner, man. I'm expecting the title. Like, man, I'm expecting dominance, man.
But here's the thing, and somebody brought this point up. Some I was listening to earlier. They did make a mistake with this whole thing, a major mistake. So, like you said, they Steinbrennered it up. I like that. They Steinbrennered it up. All right, but they didn't Steinbrenner it up at the position that they really needed to Steinbrenner it up the most, and that was at quarterback. Instead of spending that extra coin,
you can't
Cam Ward.
Track, you can't moonwalk now, Hood, because I asked you.
What do you mean?
All of this, I said, should they have ponied up a couple more millions to go get Cam Ward? And you said no.
At the time, listen, I reserved the right to change my mind. At the time, I didn't think it was. I was like, Eve, just don't fuck it up. But when I heard somebody really kind of put it in perspective, if you're going to spend all this money and build this Ferrari, you need to have Mario Andretti driving it, not Will Howard. You know what I'm saying? And Cam Ward probably would have been the better bet. But at the same time, they didn't do it, so they kind of hurt themselves by not doing that. In my humble opinion, so I have retract my statement a little bit on that. To be honest, I thought Will Howard was just enough to get us by. I can say we go Craig Krensley.
So I got two things. For one, Zen, I'm going to disagree with you on the kicker. It's a 39-yard field goal. If you don't make that damn kick, you don't need to be on this goddamn team. You're a kicker. That's your job. That's what you do. Make a 39-yard field goal and get us a win. Exactly. But then the second thing is, I think this whole spending the money thing is so overrated. Because if you really look at the team, everybody was there before. We got Caleb Downs, Will Howard, and Quinton, the running back. That's it. That's literally it.
And Jeremiah Smith.
No, he's a freshman. He's a freshman. He's a recruit.
You had to spend to make sure to get that type of receiver.
But still, he's a recruit, though.
It didn't come cheap.
He's not a transfer portal money spent. He's a recruit. Yeah, you got to spend money on recruiting, but the transfer portal, we literally only got 3 people. That's it. Everybody's sitting here acting like we got 11 new dudes and we got an all-star team. We got 3 people. That's it. So we have to stop with this. We Steinbrenner the roster up. 97% of that roster was there the previous years. So we just, like I said, Caleb Downs, Will Howard, and Quinton, the running back. That's it.
Where the money come from?
We'll agree.
What they spend the money on?
Yeah,
it's got to be Caleb Downs and the running back. It's Will Howard was cheap on the dollar.
Nah,
wait, now I see where all this animosity is coming from. Now you mad, Zen, because we took Caleb Downs from Alabama.
That's it. That's it.
No, not at all.
That's
and we took Jameson Williams from y'all first, so that's all right.
No, you can have him. He was really not that good. He wasn't even going to play for us. We had this discussion years ago.
Hey,
Jameson Williams was not going to see the field. He was not going to see the field at Ohio State.
That's why he left.
He looking good. He looking good in that Honolulu Blue.
He ain't looking better than
Garrett
Wilson and Chris Olave and all the other dudes that was in front of him.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
He's the second best receiver on his team right now, and that's not even close.
He might be the third best.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Third.
Nah, he's second. But Charles.
Yeah,
I'm looking at you, sir. All right, so talk to me about this Michigan team. So you telling me you coming fresh off a national title. You got Sharon Moore. You know I'm gonna always root for a brother to succeed. What are you?
The crying guy? The crying guy?
That bitch.
Hey, a brother is a brother. Hey,
He was
man,
crying
hey.
tears of joy when he beat y'all ass for the
There
second
you
time.
go.
Continue on.
That's the strength.
But coming off of
With the
this,
beauty,
you
with the
lose Jim
beauty mark on
Harbaugh.
his face. The beauty mark on his face.
Oh
Yeah,
no.
it's
Go
two
ahead,
things.
man.
It's two things. I want to ask about what you think of him as a head coach, and 7-5 for his first season. He does get the win against a big time rival, so that helps him. But how long can he sustain? He can't sustain 7-5 this long, too long, I should say. How much longer does he got before he got to get Michigan back into the championship picture? And then second, we got to end on the flag planting. Is this why people lose their minds not only in this Ohio State game, but Arizona and Arizona State and North Carolina, so many other games. But I want to ask about that. But first, I got to get your opinion on Sharon Moore and what you think of him as a head coach, and can he get them back into that championship window?
Here's why I like Sharon Moore.
Mm,
Okay.
mm.
I like Sharon Moore for the simple fact that he had to step up when he wasn't supposed to step up. Right? When Jim Harbaugh got suspended all them games. It's not easy to do the things that he had to do, even when Jim Harbaugh wasn't there. You got to step up, and now you have to lead, and now you have to make decisions that you're really not supposed to have to make on a Saturday afternoon in front of 100,000+ people multiple times. This is the second time he had to go in and beat Ohio State. Right, it's the second time he's had to go in and face and be the leader of a lot of an elite group of men in front of all these different people on a regular Saturday afternoon. I think that Sharon Moore is going to be fine. I think that Sharon Moore goes through what a lot of us go through when you have a really good senior class.
Puberty.
You have a really good class. High school is a senior class that graduates. In college, it's a class that either graduates or it's a class that has a lot of people that go pro. So we all knew that we were going to struggle a little bit this year. We weren't going to be in the national title race this year. We lost too many people this year. I do believe he's going to rebound, though. I do believe that even now, with him being able to flip the number one recruit in the nation to come to Michigan, and I know NIL and all that stuff plays a huge part at this point now, but because he's able to make some of the moves he's able to make, it's going to be a domino effect. You're going to start to see a few more people in the portal that are going to want to come to Michigan and be a part of what Michigan has going on. The fact that he was able to now, with however we want to talk about the game, the fact that he was able to take this team, go to Ohio, come to Columbus, come to the Horseshoe, and beat Ohio State says a lot about where the program is headed. I know for a simple fact, I know that we didn't, from a record standpoint that, 7-5 is not Michigan standards. I 100% agree with that. However, I do believe he's going to be a pretty good head coach. The players respect him. The players will follow him. You could tell by how he leads on the sideline. You can tell by even his post game stuff. And even when Jim Harbaugh left, he said there's no other person that should take over this program than Sharon Moore. So
Okay.
He's a
I
horrible
think Sharon
person.
Moore's going to be all right.
Hey, listen here, man. Before we go any further, Zach, I know you're about to go. I'm gonna tell you like this. Something you said earlier, and I wanted to just. There is a situation where this all ends, where everything works out well. If Ohio State wins the national championship, which they can still legitimately do, that might save Ryan Day's job. If they come up
That's the
short,
only way.
he's definitely going to be in jeopardy. And that's kind of odd when you think about it with the record he's had. But it's like another John Cooper situation where he's got all these big recruits and everything and winning games, but he can't win the important games. So if he don't win this national championship, which we still can, he's gone.
Hud, dude, in his time at Ohio State, I looked it up. He's 66-10. Only 2 coaches have had a better record than him.
All right.
Those 2 coaches, Kirby Smart, Nick Saban. You know what they got that Ryan Day don't?
Rings and things.
He's got to get one. You can't do all this winning, man, and don't produce nothing. The days are gone of a Bobby Bowden taking 16 years to win his first national title. Gone are the days where it takes 18 years for Joe Paterno to win his first one. Look, them days are gone. People aren't patient any longer, man. And he's going to have to, the time is now. It's now or never for him. He can't come up short. He can't come. At the very least, he's got to make it to the national title game. He's got, at the very least, he's got to be in the big dance, the big dance, in order to save his job. Because anything short of that is going to be.
You talking about this year?
Hell yeah,
This
this
year.
year. Ain't gonna be
They
no
got the
next year.
quarterback.
Let me be clear. And it pains me to say this more than anything. Ohio State has a very good chance to win has a very good chance to win a national championship this year. Ohio State has a very, very, and I mean, I think the chances are extremely high. If you look at the college football playoff right now, who is stronger in the top 12? Now, again, if you go back, right, when you had the top 4 teams and that sort of thing, Georgia used to be a lot stronger. Alabama was a lot stronger. Okay, some of those teams that they would normally be playing are a lot stronger. Who exactly is better than them?
I ain't going to say better. There's nobody better. But who I think could provide a tough matchup just based off of this Michigan game, and as Coach E said, the physicality of it, Texas. That's who I think could give them the toughest matchup. That's
Agreed.
just my opinion.
I think Texas could be very good. I think Oregon could be very good. But when you line up pound for pound, talent for talent, I do believe Ohio State has the ability to beat all of them. Whether it happens or not, I don't know. Whether it happens or not, I don't know. But I can tell you now, Ohio State is going to be there close to the end.
The only reason,
And listen, I'm a person that wishes Ohio State to lose every game from here on out that they ever play ever. Okay, they could get rid of the university for all I care. All right, just have no football, just have like hockey and like soccer, girls soccer or something. I would be fine with that. But the situation is this: they are a very good football team. I do believe that they played a little bit down on Saturday. They played good enough to win the football game and didn't. When your field goal kicker doesn't hit the kicks that they need to hit. But I can tell you now, and I got this strange feeling that Ohio State is going to end up possibly winning this thing. I'm going to be a very upset person. Don't ask me to come back on this show when it happens because I'm not coming on.
oh, you'll be here, damn it, if we got to sit through this shit. But the only thing, the Texas thing, I really don't agree with because of the Quinn Ewers effect. We got the kryptonite for him. We know him to a T. He was here.
I think Ohio State can beat Texas. Just throwing it out there.
Yeah, because he's banged up. He's not healthy enough. I don't see Archie coming in doing that. I think, clearly it's going to be a close, good game, but I don't see that happening.
Okay.
So I'm just looking at I'm checking the brackets, and their first game is probably going to be against Tennessee at Ohio State.
That's the good thing, at home.
At home. And if I'm not mistaken, whoever wins that
go to Oregon.
Will wind up playing Oregon in the second round.
Yeah.
So, listen, I agree with you, Charles. It's a definite possibility that they can go ahead and run through this, but it's going to be tough. Yeah. Tennessee and Oregon, your first two games.
It's not going to be easy, bro. I'm not, but it's not meant to be easy. And I'm glad they have the 12-team playoff. I think the 14 was a little bit ridiculous. I'm glad it's the 12. I think it's a little bit better competition. But I will tell you this: if Ohio State's playing Tennessee at home, I have Ohio State in that game. To me personally, I got Ohio State in that game, and the reason why I have them beating Oregon, okay, is because it's tough to beat the same team twice in the same season.
Right.
Yeah.
I always say
and this one going to be on a neutral site too.
Look at the stats. If you look at the stats of history of that happening, go from high school, college, pros. It doesn't happen so much in college until right now. But if you look at high school and you look at the pros, it is tough to do that.
Alabama fan. We won one of our titles that way. We lost to LSU. We beat them in the national title game. I know exactly what you're talking about. So yeah, you're absolutely right. It's hard to be the same team twice. Absolutely. All right.
Tough.
Look. I got to get to this.
Flag planting.
I got.
Flag planting.
Now I'm gonna skip flag planting because I got to watch out for my man Mel. I got to get Mr. Taboo Timmons involved. We're gonna go ahead and go straight to the Brown. Well, all right. Look, you now when it comes to the end and we don't get to talk about something that you want to talk about, you remember this.
Cool.
All right, here we go.
What I tell you, E? What I tell you yesterday?
But he can talk about the flag planting. He ain't got to watch college football to put some intake on this flag planting shit.
Yeah, I can throw a little.
Is this truly as disrespectful as cats are taking it out to be? Because folks, I've heard both sides of the argument that, hey, if you'd just played better, if you had that same energy during the game, then this wouldn't be happening. So I want to get y'all takes. And do you see? Is there a need to outlaw flag planting going forward?
Go ahead.
How you gonna outlaw us after the game? Hey man, I got a one-liner for this. You seen the movie Drumline? What started the fight? The man played on his drum. You don't play on another man's drum. That's like playing on a man's drum. You playing a flag in the middle of the field. It's disrespect. It's disrespect, man. You can't do that, man. That's all I got to say on it because it's disrespectful. You can't do it. Of course, they're not gonna let that go down.
Hey, I'm gonna tell you like this. That's some sucker shit, man. And I ain't saying it because they did it to us. I just don't think it's a cool thing to do, regardless of who the team is, because you already beat me, whoever. Now you're gonna just double down on it and try to like really disrespect me. Like I wouldn't have been cool if Ohio State did it at Michigan. I'd be like, that ain't cool. And if Michigan would have reacted the same way, I'd be like, they justifiably can do that. This is at every level. I literally, when I was coaching at Bedford, saw the Bedford JV team get into a fight with Warrensville because Warrensville went and got on the black in the middle of the field after the game. We won the game, but at the end of the game, Warrensville got in the middle of the field and huddled up on the Bedford symbol. The kids lost their minds, and it turned into a big brawl. They were like, what are they doing? So I just think it's a degree of respect you have to have, man. It's okay to in between the lines and you do what you do, but once the game is over, you're supposed to go back to either, being civil with each other to a degree. When you do something like that, now you spitting in my face, and I'm not letting you do that. So I understand wholeheartedly what they did. I'm not saying what they did was right, but I understand why they did it. I understand why they did it.
So, Zen, when you said you heard both sides of the argument, it's only one side. You don't do that shit. You just don't. You don't plant no flag nowhere. You don't grab somebody's mascot. You don't wipe your feet on the emblem on the 50-yard line. None of that stuff. That's just saying, hey, guys, do you mind if you come over here and kick my ass? That's pretty much what you're asking for. That's the only thing that's going to come from that. You just can't do it. I'm not promoting violence, but don't do it.
Right. Hey, it's like you can talk about everything, but you better not say shit about my mama.
You know what I'm saying?
Now we got to fight.
We're going down.
You crossing the line that shouldn't be crossed. You just don't do that.
Habitual line step.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I gotta agree, to be honest. And again, like I was fine with it, like obviously because I'm watching the game at East House and we emotional and I'm up yelling X, Y, and Z. But at the end of the day, even from a coaching standpoint, you're gonna lose some games, brother. You're gonna win some, you're gonna lose some. It just is what it is. You're not coming to planting a flag in the middle of our Tiger at our stadium. Like I don't care what school we're playing. Like if we lose, we lose. I get it. That's fine. All this stuff about if you have more energy during the game, whoever is saying that, you're not an athlete
at all.
You haven't played the game because both teams exhausted everything that they had on the field. Like both teams gave everything they had. Yeah, there's been some teams made some mistakes. Some teams didn't get some things done. Like we caught a couple breaks here. The ball bounced our way a couple more times than Ohio State did. And there's been years where if the ball bounced a few more ways, Ohio State did than Michigan. But both teams went at it. Those players went at it. They gave everything they had on the field here. And so I get Michigan and I defend our boys all the time. But at the end of the day, if our kids, when we get done with a game, as me, and I know this is high school, when we get done with a game, if we have some kids that go grab a flag and go out to the middle of the opposing team's logo and plant a flag, I'm up their ass. Like I'm so far up their ass, like I'm talking out of their mouth to their parents. That's how far up their ass I am. We're not doing that.
That's up there.
We 100% are not doing that. So I'm down with the rivalry. I'm down with the shit talking. I'm down with everything that goes along with it. I'm down with even if you're just waving your flag back and forth, and you're just waving your flag on your side, and you're doing whatever. When you start going to planning and stuff like that, it starts to get a lot. And again, I agree with her. If Ohio State had done that at Michigan too, him saying like I would have been cool with it, it's the same. Like it just you asking for it when you do it. You're really, really asking for it.
Mhm.
And you know what that reminds me of? I've seen the video of it. Obviously, I wasn't around at the time, but it was one year back in the 60s. They were playing each other, and they were at Michigan. And Ohio State came out first. And you know how you guys have the
Ripped the
banner, and
banner.
everybody jumps and touches the banner.
Yeah.
And the Buckeyes came out and ripped the banner down before the Wolverines even came on the field.
Mhm.
That's the sucker shit. I was like, come on now, Buckeyes. Y'all tripping.
Uh,
Don't do that.
Yeah.
I don't even know who won the game. That might have been like 1969 or something. I don't know.
Right.
But you just can't. It's just some stuff you just don't do it, man. And if you do it, don't be mad when they want to fight. Don't be mad.
Right.
If you do something like that, expect some retaliation.
And yes, people,
All right,
in
so
1969, Hud was 20 years old.
I was not
And-
Bud was a GA for Ohio State during that time.
so do you see the NCAA outlawing it, basically putting something up against the to where coaches is gonna have to make sure their players don't act up going forward? You see,
It's gonna
because
get outlawed. It's gonna get outlawed now, bro. It's gonna get outlawed. All of it's gonna get trust me.
Should it get
I
outlawed?
don't
though? I don't think it
know.
should get outlawed.
You know what? I'm so
It should not.
sick of this world and thinking you just gotta outlaw stuff. It's a such
Everything.
thing in the world as wrongdoing, and it's a such thing in the world as good. You're allowed to have both, okay? You're allowed to do
Right.
dumb shit. Okay, it might not be smart, but you're allowed to do it because it's a choice. Don't just take away
Yeah.
choices just because the masses don't agree with it and they don't want to see. It's not that serious. Okay, it's football. It's a violent game. And you asking people to just, when the game is over, just calm down and go back to humanity and be a great human being and shake hands. No,
Exactly.
it's going to happen. So don't even try to outlaw it. I'm sick of the whole wussification of the world because that's what it's about. That's what it is. Let's not outlaw it.
Yeah. Yeah.
it's too big of a business, though.
No, but look,
it done
They
got
didn't
too
cut
big.
the feed though.
It's
They didn't
football.
cut the feed. I thought that was big because they didn't cut the feed.
Yeah.
So now,
Fox
guess what?
kept showing it.
You
Yeah.
just sold more tickets for the next game. In my opinion, people want to see it.
That's what I'm saying.
Right.
You see the what is it called? The butterfly effect. You saw it because that carried on over into how many more games after that on the same day because of
Yeah.
what happened in that game.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but it
They-
sells. It,
Yeah.
it sells. It shouldn't be outlawed. Now
And-
people gonna be looking for it next time.
And guess
You
what?
can't outlaw it.
While the game
Yeah,
was
you
going
can. You
on,
find the universities enough. You take enough. You hit their pockets good enough, like they did in Ohio
they
State.
shouldn't
What
do
they
that.
fined them $1 million a piece. Yeah,
Nah,
you,
chump change.
100,000.
it was.
But
They
I hope they
shouldn't
don't
do
do
that.
it because I agree with E. Everything's so soft now.
Yeah.
So
Right.
all you need to do now as a head coach is say, "Hey, listen, we're not doing that no more. Done." Like, stop making the rules. Like every little thing happen, we gotta make a rule for this, and well, you can't do this, you
I
can't do
hate
that.
that.
It's like you don't need to do all of that. Just hey, listen, hey NCAA, we strongly encourage that you don't do that. Like, listen, talk ads, talk to your head coach and say, hey, listen, tell the players don't do that shit no more. All right, done. We're done here. We're done. It's over.
And
Move on.
Yeah.
No regulation needed. No regulation needed.
I like what you said, I mean, because the whole game, football, like you said, football is such a violent sport. And this is obviously a big deal to both of these cities,
right.
both of these schools, all these players. Passed down. You out there whooping each other ass the whole 4 quarters.
Oh,
So
okay.
now, why you gotta be a gentleman? So Me personally, I'm like, look, if you go plant that flag, which it shouldn't be outlawed, just know you might get your ass whooped.
Yes.
So that's what I'm like. Just know the consequences.
I literally just tried to
even
give this man a concussion in the game.
Yeah, literally.
Because even it's not even the violence aspect of it with football, it's the emotional aspect.
Yeah.
We put a lot of passion and emotion when we play football. And I'm not saying other sports don't do it also, but football it's so many ups and downs, and you almost have to change sometime into an entirely different person when you play football. Like people like Troy Polamalu, you sit down and have a conversation with him. He's the most gentle guy, and he speak like a woman.
Yeah.
And then when he get on that field, he is
That's
like
your
a
ass.
fucking maniac. And that's
Right.
the thing with football. It's hard to sometimes you can't just turn that shit off, like you said. The emotion
Yeah.
is too high, too much. But
Yeah.
like you said, B, it's consequences to your actions.
Yeah.
You want to do
Right.
that? Be ready to
And
deal
plus-
with it.
You
Think
got-
about it. Most of the world, except Charles, shout out to Charles. Most of the world said they was gonna lose this game. You said it was gonna be 38-14 or something like that.
Yes, I did.
The line was like plus 900. It's funny. A little voice told me, said, call the bookie. As soon as he put the guarantee on it, it was like, call the bookie. I was like, nah, bookie, no, voice. So we ain't gonna listen to you this time because he right on this one. Man, it was plus 900 line that Michigan was going if they won the game. Plus 900. That's ridiculous. That's crazy on the bookie line. But the world told them they weren't gonna win this. They came in 6-5 record. Ohio State rolling. World told them we weren't gonna win. So now they won. They charged up. They fired up. They want to throw the extra FU to the O State fans. And that was a good way to do it. They paid for it though, but that was definitely a good way to do it.
Last thing, Zan. I got two tiers on the crazy person spectrum. You got UFC, and right here is football. Those two things are totally different than any other sport ever played. So you have to be a different person.
Okay.
Mhm.
I
So
agree.
yeah, man, I'm happy, man. I appreciate you, though. I'm happy, man. We dedicate this to Charles Salter, this Charles Salter podcast today.
Hey, whoa,
not Coach
whoa.
Charles Salter
Whoa. He ain't the only guy here.
Hey,
Listen,
he told y'all
Hud,
4
Hud.
years straight. I mean, this is ridiculous.
Listen, Hud, stick yourself. Hey, now listen, but here's the thing though. Here's the thing though too. Okay. Hey, Tim. Here's the thing though. I saw plus 800 when you might have saw 900. I saw plus 800. I didn't put no money down.
Yeah.
Right? And listen, I'm confident
It
in us.
was a sucker bet.
I'm confident in us. But here's the situation. I didn't know we was gonna win the game. I knew it wouldn't be. I knew it wouldn't be no blowout.
Yeah.
So I it was like plus 20 something. I took the points. I was like, y'all not gonna beat us by no 30 points. It just wasn't gonna add up because I knew our defense was pretty good. But at the same time, I didn't know we was gonna win the game, man. To be honest,
Yeah.
I mean, we lost to Illinois, dog.
Yeah.
I mean,
they knew what to do.
I think Illinois
They knew
is a
what to
shitty
do.
team. Illinois is not bad for real, but we lost to Illinois, Indiana. I mean, you know, my main thing was I don't think we can score. I felt like we could hold up defensively for a while, but then we were going to start to get exposed because we just can't score.
Mhm.
And we were able to like bring Ohio State down into the depths of
Yep.
the depths of what we wanted to play, and that's what we
Yep.
did.
Classic Madden,
I mean-
man. Hey, you know what you just did? You just planted your flag on the Coach E podcast.
God
man.
damn.
It's crazy.
Hey, you know what?
How'd you do this?
Don't say that because he's gonna get his ass whooped. He's gonna get his ass whooped playing flags. Don't do that to him. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it to him. Taboo.
I mean,
playing
it
no
ain't
flags,
no more.
dog.
It's blue and yellow in here. That's crazy.
No flags. If y'all see
All
a
right.
flag, if y'all see a flag outside Hudson's house planted, I did plant that one. I did plant that in the middle of his yard. I planted it.
All right. Well, look, we ain't got that much time. If we jump into the Browns, that's a whole nother topic.
Yeah.
Look,
man.
I'm just gonna go ahead real quick. Conference championships, man, that's happening this week. Do they matter anymore? I know it's big money behind it, but do they matter anymore now that there's 12 teams in the playoffs?
Absolutely.
Absolutely
Yeah, we
still matters.
I think it matters
I think
more.
The winner goes to the playoff.
And not only
Right.
do they go to the
Yeah,
playoffs, they get that first round bye. So I think that matters, so they can get
Yeah.
a rest, like a bye week. So I think, hell yeah, it matters.
And some conference, I can't remember which conference. I think it might be the Big 12 Conference Championship. Whoever wins that is going to make the playoffs. Whoever loses out, it's either that or the ACC. I can't remember. But so this is basically their first playoff game. Is this championship game is the first playoff game because whoever wins, whoever loses is out.
Because
So it definitely still matters.
if you think about this is now an NFL season for these kids. Their bodies are not used to this.
Mhm.
They need that break because that's damn near 17 games if you go all the way to the national championship game. That's 17 games.
Wow.
Kids are not used to that no more, dude. Well, ever. They've never done it.
It's not 17
Hey.
games. Is it 17 games?
It's already 12.
Yeah.
It's 12 right now.
So you playing at least.
Then you got the
Right.
conference
It's 12
championship, that's 13. Then you got the first round of playoffs, that's 14. Then you got the second round, that's 15. Then the final four, 16. Championship, 17.
Wow.
It's a lot of games.
So, but this is why I say, do they matter anymore? You said the bye, but you know when you can also get a bye? Not playing in your conference championship game, and you get that same bye. So that's why I'm like, who's really catching an advantage?
I'd rather have the playoff
You know
bye.
what? It does matter in the sense because, okay, say for example, I'll just use the Ohio State for example. Those young men that came back this year, that's to play their senior year, they had a checklist of the things they wanted to do that they had not done yet.
Mm-hmm.
They hadn't beat Michigan. They hadn't won. They haven't as good as Ohio State has been. They have not won a Big Ten championship in 4 or 5 years. So those kids have never won a Big Ten championship.
Michigan's
Exactly. They've never went to a national championship game. They've never even been into. I think they only. I don't even think they've ever made it to the college football playoffs, if I'm not mistaken.
Georgia.
So
CJ Stroud.
okay, yeah,
Yeah.
right. So I mean, it does mean something to these kids. I mean, to walk around. I don't know if you ever seen the hardware these kids get for winning a conference championship,
George
but
big.
the Big Ten conference championship rings are about as big as this laptop,
Muy grande.
and that's something that you can kind of boast about the rest of your life, man. It's really it's still a big deal. Now I don't know if it's going to continue to be a big deal 5, 6, 10 years from now, whatever. But right now, it still means a lot to these kids to call themselves Big 12 champions or SEC champions. Now, come on, now you're an Alabama guy. If Alabama was in the SEC championship game, you'll be all in. Like, yes, I want it, and they want it. They still want it. It's still a prestigious thing.
Okay, all right, I got that. And look, we're gonna keep it all college. All right, so the Heisman is down to 2.
No, it's not.
Travis Hunter and Ashton Genty.
No, not even close.
Ashton Genty is put up, they say, numbers that's better than the last 3 running backs to win the Heisman. And you got the freak of nature, which is Travis Hunter. Fellas, go ahead.
It's not
I'm gonna
even
put it to you like
close.
this. I'm gonna keep it real simple, and I've never seen that Genty guy play. Don't know what he looked like. Never seen his game. But when Colorado was on, I'm watching. I'm watching Colorado. I don't even know who this Genty guy is. I've never seen him play. So that right there tells me that I want to see what Travis Hunter is going to do that game. I'll be honest with you. I want to see how many touchdowns he's going to catch, how many interceptions, what he's going to do. I'm interested to see what he's going to do. I could care less what the guy in Boise State is doing. So my opinion, you got to give it to Travis Hunter. He's must-see TV.
All right, Charles, you was about to jump in there. What you got?
So I'll be honest with you. I kind of agree with HUD on this situation, in the fact that I really haven't seen the kid play very much. I actually turned it on the other day when they were playing
Oregon State.
Was it
Oregon State?
No, was it Oregon State last week? It wasn't Oregon State last week.
It was probably Buckshot
Was
State.
it Oregon State last week? It was
Idaho.
It was.
Idaho.
And I did watch them a little bit, but it's just, you know what, man, it's tough just because it's Boise State, and they just I feel like if Genty was the same person playing at Mizzou, and had the same exact numbers.
Big
or
difference.
Florida had the same exact numbers. We were talking about a whole different situation. And I'm not saying he's undeserving of it. I'm not saying that at all. But I will say that Travis Hunter going both ways. I mean, bro, I don't know how he doesn't win it. To be honest with you, it would be tough. It would be tough for him not to win it. I think he's well deserving. The Genty kid is I'm sure he's phenomenal too. But when you're putting up these numbers versus Utah State, it just is a different take on it. Not to take anything away from it at all. I'm not at all, but it's a little bit of a different take.
I'm already on record saying if anybody votes for anybody besides Travis Hunter, your voting privileges should be revoked. It doesn't make any sense. You shouldn't even think about anybody else. This is the true definition. Now, we've heard the phrase players playing both ways, but this is literally a player playing both ways. You said that about Charles Woodson. He played both ways occasionally. They had packages and stuff for him on offense. He returned punts sometimes, stuff like that. So, yeah, okay, he played both ways occasionally. Gamble, Ohio State, Chris Gamble played both ways occasionally. This young man has played every freaking snap on the offense and on the defense. Case closed. Not only has he played all snaps on offense and defense, he's the biggest difference maker on offense and defense. Case closed. There's nothing else need to be said or thought about.
Sounds like perfect way to end the pod right there. All right, fellas. Hey, it was fun. I knew it was going to be fun. It's always fun when we get this time of the year where we get Coach Salter and Coach Hood back on the podcast, man. You know, same time next year, fellas. I expect your reservations are already extended, so you know where to be, man. So appreciate y'all, fellas. Appreciate y'all, man. So you hear that? Hey, no problem.
Appreciate being on.
Hey, I hear that sound. You know what that means. Good pod. Hey, Coach E. You got a post-game word for the people.
Absolutely. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Gather around, take me, all eyes on me. Today's word is just do it. And I'm not stealing anything from Nike, but just do it. There's a lot of pressure on you. Don't matter. Just do it. You've been waiting for this moment and you're kind of nervous. It's all right. Just do it. Do it for yourself. Prove it to yourself. Everybody's been doubting you. Just do it. You can do it. That's all you need to know. You can do it. It shall be done. It will be done. It's already written for it to be done. So just do it. No matter what it is. I don't care if it's a promotion. I don't care if it's starting a company. I don't care if it's just jumping out in life and trying something new. Just do it. No matter what. Just do it. Win on me, win on three. 1, 2, 3. Win! It sounds so sweet. Ladies and gentlemen, I love that up close and personal shot right there, Hud. Thank you for listening to another episode of Coach E Game for All Season. It was a lot of hatred going on in here. There's a lot of blue and gold I don't like. But you know what I like those in? I like when bands get back together. It's always a good thing and it's must-see TV. So will the band get back together? With that being said, see you next week.
Thank you for tuning in to Game for All Seasons with Coach E. Remember to hit the like or subscribe button on Coach E's YouTube channel. To listen on the go, download wherever you get your podcasts. Also, make sure to follow Coach E on Instagram, X, and TikTok at BigF216. Contact us at www.perfecttimefitness.com for one-on-one or group training sessions. Our theme music provided by Mr. Taboo Timmons on SoundCloud at Mr. Taboo Timmons. Once again, thanks for listening and see you next week.